Hello there. Hi, I'm Jo Baldwin-Trott. I'm very fortunate to be one of the co-authors of #Remoteworking. So now, #1 bestseller in Canada. Goodness me, how exciting. And #5 in the US, #2 in the UK so far. So this is a remote working book. It's all about support and advice for everyone who's been suddenly thrown into the realm of working at home and the challenges they face. So many of us have been doing this for years. At the moment, the person with the most longest time served is 22, and that's Penny Power. But tell me if you guys can beat that. So I'm Jo Baldwin-Trott. I am one of the authors, but this is an opportunity to ask you authors. I've got 4 authors here about your experiences and also why you're drawn to the book. So let's head straight into it. And I'm going to start with Padma. Hi, Padma.
Hi, Jo. Thank you for doing this today. That's so kind of you, honestly.
Fantastic. And then I've just whipped round. Actually, we've got Megan German. Hi, Megan.
Hi.
You're in Colorado, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. And Bob Hayward, you are up the road from me, Oxfordshire.
Hey, hello.
And then furthest away, hello, in Canada is Janelle.
Hi, everyone.
Fantastic. Hi. Brilliant. Okay, so let's start with Padma. And can you tell us why you drawn to the book, what your experience is, and your top tip?
You want them all 3 together, Jo?
Yep, that'd be great.
All right. Then listen, as I said, thanks for having me. When I first got this call or the message, I just literally jumped on it because I think this book is long overdue. What I teach is lifestyle and wellness, and the main aspect of what I teach is mindfulness and meditations, where we go inwards. And when we go deeper inside, there's a quietness inside of us from where we can be most productive. And right now, the world is actually forcing us to be working remotely or with ourselves, away from the chatter of the rest of the world. So I thought, oh my God, this is so up my alley. This is exactly what I teach, for people to go inside. And I thought, I need to put this out there to teach or share more than teach with people that, you know what, it's not so bad or scary as we all think it is. It's perhaps the best thing that can happen to us. You know, out of every cloud has a silver lining. And for me, this is a silver lining, is find the best side of you and the best you. So that's why I jumped at wanting to do this book. So if you want me to go into the remote experience, I can, but I think there's other people who have to answer why they were drawn to this book. So I was drawn to this book because I really thought I had something to share of value of them.
Fantastic, thank you. And what would be your top tip for this book?
Well, you know, because I've had amazing experience. The experience that I have is I used to work from central London in Belgravia with my clients, and my clients are very busy individuals who travel non-stop and, you know, very high pressure jobs. So they really couldn't keep their timings or, you know, the schedule with me. They would say, I'm going to see you today, let's say at 2 o'clock. Or they'll say, I'm at the airport, I have to go to Canada. Or I'm at the airport, I have to be in Italy. Not because they did not want to, but they could not do what they wanted to do. So I came to a space, it was a few years ago, saying, guess what? Let's do this remote. You don't have to be bound by a physical space. Let's do it long distance. And not only did they turn up, they were telling their friends, guess what? I work with Padma and she works remote. So my business kind of went up because of that. And people felt really comfortable as well, because they didn't get geographically bound, emotionally bound, and all that stuff. So my top tip literally is don't let things bind you down. Pick up the best from it. And, you know, geographical location is no longer a boundary or hesitation. The more you can think outside the box, the better you can do. So being on your own, because we're talking about remote working, nothing is probably more powerful than being able to be in one space and getting a lot of work done. So, you know, seize this opportunity of what we're going through.
Fantastic.
So my practice is just that, is go inside of you, emotionally and physically, and go inside of you and draw the best bit of you when you work remotely. A lot can get done.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think, you know, there's a lot of people I've been interviewing that said, actually, I've got a chance to be creative because we are having to be still, and there's not so much noise, and all the kind of journeys and everything else. Life has got very much, generally for some, not always, but
The best in you comes out shortly.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. That was brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Let's come on to Megan next. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Great to meet you at last after seeing you on social media. So fire away. Tell us your experience and why you're drawn to the book.
Sure. So I was drawn to this book because I've been working remotely for nearly 10 years now. And my remote work experience is very varied, right? So I have had the experience of working in an office environment and then moving to Colorado and working remotely, where I was one of the very, very few people working remotely. I've also had the experience of looking for a job and getting a remote job with the team who was global, and I was the only one here, and we were all remote. And I've had the experience of looking for a job and getting a remote job where people are still in Denver, but everyone's working from home. And so I've learned a lot about how to deal in each of those different situations and how to thrive and be successful working remotely. And that leads into my top tip, which is all about communication, right? So when you're working in a remote environment, you need to learn how to effectively communicate so that you can still be successful in your position. And my advice is to not rely on email, especially when you're working in an environment where you don't actually know the people that you're working with, because they don't know your tone, they don't know how you're speaking. It's easy for things to get lost in translation in email. And nowadays, when we have great technology like Skype and Zoom, my advice is to take advantage of that and do these video calls where you can see people and make an effort to connect with them and work to build those relationships so that you can be more successful in your job.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant advice. Yeah, and it's so important we keep that human connection. And before just sending each other messages, the voice has such richness. We get the passion, the integrity,
the body language.
Yeah, and also the kind of the ups and the downs, because it's so easy to reply to something, say, yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah, no, I'm working from home, feeling good about everything. And actually underneath, oh, you're feeling absolutely terrible and you're struggling. Right. So yeah, I think that's a good leader's tip, isn't it? Really, hopefully they're really checking in. I know Megan's, Kim's chapter is very much about leading, but with that communication of softness, or like her analogy is for the water, around the water cooler. Create those moments online. Brilliant. Thank you, Megan. Thank you so much. And I might leave you till last, Bob. Is that all right?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just because I can, really. That's a bit mean.
Pleasure.
Let's go all the way over to Canada, and then we'll come back to Near Me. Hi, Janelle. Lovely to see you at last. After I feel like I know you, but we've just been in touch via online.
Oh, thanks, Joe. That's so sweet. So I guess to answer the first question, kind of what inspired me or motivated me to become part of this project, and it really kind of goes back, I think, about 10 days before we got the call from Andrew about this project. And that was, when I was sitting here at my home office in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and heard about all of kind of the shutdown starting to take place and how people were starting to move to a remote working situation. And I just kind of thought to myself, like, well, I've been working remotely for many years, both in like a corporate type of environment as well as in a self-employed capacity. And I just thought I've shed the tears trying to master working remotely. And I have probably some lessons I could share with folks. So I had actually started kind of sharing some lessons and tips about collaboration, remote collaboration, before I heard from Andrew. And so then the second reason was I heard from Andrew, and Megan and I had actually worked with him on another book, the book called Customer Experience. We'd worked with him about 6 months ago on that book. And it was a great experience, great opportunity for the both of us and for others as well. And so when he reached out and asked for me to participate, I thought, well, why not? I mean, anything that Andrew touches really impacts so many people. And I just wanted to share what little wisdom I had kind of curated over many years of working remotely, share it with those who really needed it right now. And so I guess that kind of leads to my best tip, which is all around collaboration and collaborative technologies. And so Megan kind of touched on this, you know, trying to leverage Zoom or Skype or video. And I really advocate for taking it a step further and to create an engaging meeting or collaboration opportunity whenever you can. And that would be taking it a step further from Zoom or Skype or WebEx and adding on a purposeful collaboration tool like Mural or Miro or Deskel. And what that does is it takes it to another level. So in addition to being able to see each other, you can then actually collaborate using like whiteboarding technology, and it replaces an in-person whiteboarding session through technology. And it's just a great way to become more boundaryless and to take that engagement level one step further. And it really kind of allows the introverts in the group to participate more actively, because in a video setting like this, where there's a lot of people on the line, it can be really difficult for the quieter people to chime in and to have their voices heard. So by adding on either a chat or a whiteboarding type experience, it really just rounds it out and helps to replace an in-person meeting.
That's really great tip, because on Friday I'm doing an interview with teachers, and I'm an ex-teacher, but you know, there's a lot of teachers really struggling with doing all of this. You know, it feels fairly straightforward. I would go on to Zoom and teach the kids. It's not that straightforward, obviously, and especially with the younger ones. So I'd love to have those links actually then, please, Janelle, and then I can put them on, attach them to this video, and I can share that out to these teachers that may or may not have heard of them. I know I've spoken to quite a few teachers. Some schools are really on it with the tech, and they're like, they've got it all fairly sorted. But others aren't, and there's a lot of teachers that are really struggling to try and get any kind of level of efficiency. So awesome.
Yeah, no problem. I can give you the links, and then also when this first started, I put out a tutorial on how to use Mural, which is my collaboration tool of choice, and it's just like quick 10-minute intro. It's fairly intuitive, but just has some little finicky bits. So there's a 10-minute tutorial that I can share with you as well.
Please do. The more the better. The more the better. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's great. Okay, last but definitely not least, the male in the group. Hi, Bob.
Hey, Joe.
Right. So I'm sort of through. I'm coming through the book. I haven't got to your chapter yet, Bob. So tell me.
Well, I was attracted to this project really for two main reasons. You know, as a growth consultant, productivity of employees is really important to me and to my clients, obviously. And with the shutdown beginning, all of a sudden, a number of my clients' employees had to be asked to go work from home. You know, thankfully, quite a few of the clients don't have to furlough everybody, so they actually just move to home working. And for 75–80% of those people, they'd never done that before. So yeah, around that time, a group started to appear on WhatsApp, which I was part of, and you're part of that group, and that includes Andrew and Penny and a few of the others. And that group of people resonated with me. And I thought, well, you know, my clients need this material, and I like a lot of the people that are in this group. It would be wonderful to collaborate with those people and produce something that's really helpful, that's really poignant right now, that's really pivotal right now. To enable people to be that little bit more hopeful and that little bit more productive at home. So that was a big thing from my point of view. My experience with it, well, back in 1991, my last job went pop, where I was an MD for another organization that fell over in a recession. And since then, I've worked on my own, and the vast majority of that time, I've worked from home. Some of the time, I've maintained a home office whilst having facilities, because I've had more than one business running at any one time. So most of my time I'm working from home and I'm working independently, and therefore I felt able to contribute. The experiences I've had have been not just as a remote employee, but as a remote business owner, and therefore, you know, I put forward some tips to help people consider how they could, you know, punch above their weight as an individual and make either more profit or produce more, or have more significance in terms of result. So for me, that my top tip would be to realize that your wealth is a combination of your network and your knowledge, and your ability to leverage both your network and your knowledge. If I had to choose one, I guess I'd choose knowledge, because I could never have done what I do now back in 1991. You know, I've only developed that ability because I have an insatiable appetite to learn. And back in those days, that was a Nightingale Conan audio training program where I used to get cassette tapes sent to me every month. You can remember cassette tapes. Probably there's a couple of people too young to remember cassette tapes. But it did translate into CDs at one point before that stopped. You know, these days it's Audible is my go-to.
Can I just pause you a second, Bob? Sorry. Can you guys hear? Classic remote working moment. Can you guys hear what's going on? My little puppy is normally upstairs with my girls. So normally I'm phenomenally organized, and I did ask them, but they've forgotten to shut the door, and my puppy wants to come in. So classic moment of I've got company, and so I've got a new hashtag. Come on. She's cuter than me, like properly much nicer than me. She's like, look.
Oh, look at that! Still to go.
She's like my little superstar. So hashtag dogs on Zoom. I apologise, Bob. So there we go. That was a classic, and I'll come on to what I talk about in a minute, which will be completely appropriate even more now. Okay, sorry. Yeah, you were saying. So yeah, no, you've had a good experience, and you've really focused.
Yeah, I think it was the learning that made a big difference to me. And I couldn't find the time to read because I was traveling too much. But listening in a car or on a plane or on a train, that was relatively easy. So I've consumed a book a month since 1991. So there's pretty much no theory in sales development, leadership development, business development that I've not read. And therefore, I've been able to shift and pivot what I do and what I deliver in terms of value to clients. And I think, for all of us going forward, we can't stay the same. If what you do now is not going to be there in the future, the derivatives of what you do now will make you more money in the future than what you do now. So unless we're developing those new skills, those new insights, we'll run out of road at some point. So that's my top tip. Accelerate your learning. Learn something every single day.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I've just interviewed Martin Roberts, actually, Homes Under the Hammer guy.
Okay.
And he was saying that, he said, you've just got to learn, keep learning different things, just grow your skills, do random things, just keep learning, do something. And we sort of agree that try and learn something a week, set yourself up a goal, right? I'm going to learn this week. Just have a go at it, go online and have a look at it. We are blessed to have this technology. I mean, if this had happened 10 years ago, well, not so much 10, it was kind of around then, wasn't it? But 20 years ago.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, no, absolutely. And I very much sort of talk about outside the box thinking as well. Just be creative with what you're doing and think, well, actually, how could I do that? Can I look at that and do that? So thank you so much, Bob. That's great.
You're welcome.
And so I've been a mum at home for 9 years with my kids. So my chapter is very much about managing the family. And sort of preventing things like that, really, the dog coming in. So I talk about boundaries and very much about making sure that everyone knows about them, because, I've got certain boundaries. I've got zones in my house I use to work, and I communicate those and I've got my kids on board with what I do, which, I think is really important. You have to, and they were 3 when I started working at home, but they've really got used to me working at home now, and they very much leave me alone. They leave my spaces alone, my zones, as I call them. They let me, and if you get the kids on board, if you have kids and got that challenge, and talk to them and explain them, because if you just say, oh, that's where I'm working, it doesn't mean anything to them, does it? What does that mean? But if you explain, well, actually, I'm doing a call, and, when I've got clients, it's like, it's an absolute nowhere near zone. The doors are shut. So I've got, because I mentor clients, you don't want people kind of, that can't happen when I'm mentoring a client. It's just if people are sharing their stories. So that's my chapter. But it's been super duper talking to you guys. Thank you so much, and I'm thrilled to do this project with you. And let's see where else it's going to go. I mean, goodness me, it's been amazing. So thank you for your time. Goodbye, Janelle in Canada. Bye, Padma in London, Megan, and Bob. Take care, guys.
Keep meditating, everyone. Keep meditating.
Keep meditating. Bring ourselves in. Yeah, we're in the here and the now. That's the only place we can ever, ever, ever be.
Very true.
And
Well done,
relax.
team.
Okay.
Hi,
Well done,
thank you,
team.
Joe. You've been amazing. Thank you.
All amazing. Amazing achievement in 1 week. Incredible. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.